I'm sorry, but if I got to suffer today by having to watch this clip, then guess who else going to have to suffer? You.
But we're in the minority. But so long as we stand strong and not one Democrat falters, let me tell you, there are going to be Republicans that don't want to vote for this, and they can't lose more than one vote. So long as we stand together and so long as we're here, and the Republicans, they're dysfunctional. They can't get this done by themselves.
Is this a preview to how Democrats will message leading up to 2026?
Saying fuck off. Yeah. But we're
And this is how Democrats are going to lead, huh? Y'all don't find no irony in this. This known racist asking for unification. Y'all don't find no. We'll get to that in a minute. First, you're talking about Republicans not being able to be, being incompetent, not being able to come together and accomplish anything. Really? Now, don't get it twisted. I know that we have rhinos and things of that nature for sure. But the fact that you guys are projecting what you are, this is the new tactic of the left right now. They don't have anything other than projecting what we know them to be and try to flip the script and make it seem like we're that. That's their new tactic right now. But again, this known racist, yeah, she's known to be racist towards white people, specifically is asking for Democrats, which includes white people, to unify together to somehow stop the Republicans. The irony. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, Peggy Dotson at it. I have to hold myself back when it comes to this $2.304. Look at them croc nails. She also at it. Yeah, man. Cynthia Ho at it. They're effing delusional. They're still thinking and reacting as if Biden is still running the country. This is why the Democrats are going to keep on losing. Please continue. And she added a word that I can't say. But she made sure she added Rep. Jasmine Crockett. Now, y'all got to see this interaction between Scott Jennings. I believe there's a part two. But Scott Jennings asked two Democratic panelists how many of Joe Biden's staffers who actually ran the country were elected by voters, adding George Soros collects your people like Pokemon cards, y'all. Oh, my gosh. Right on point. I love the fact that they added Scott Jennings. One thing that we can appreciate from seeing that.
I'm sorry. Can I ask a question? Did Joe Biden have staff at the White House? And how many of those staff members were elected?
Well, but Scott, Elon
zero.
Musk
The answer is zero. Every president appoints people to do things for them. To call him unelected is like the most naive and ridiculous talking point I've ever heard.
Scott, I can't believe you would believe something like this, because if this was Joe Biden allowing for a billionaire,
allowing people who weren't elected to run the country for the last 4 years, yeah, I would believe that actually.
Throwing another coup on January 6th.
I would believe it if Joe Biden had unelected people running the government for the last year, maybe the last 4 years. Yeah, I'd believe every word of it.
You wouldn't be up in arms, Scott.
I was up in arms about it.
I think there's a difference if it was George Soros. I think that the example is not, obviously everyone has unelected people in that they appoint. The difference is if it was George Soros.
George Soros does have influence over Democrats. He collects your people like Pokemon cards.
Everybody, hold on. Everybody, hold on.
Yeah. Oh, Scott Jennings, man. Right on point. He just pointed out the hypocrisy in their criteria. It's like, look, okay, so Joe Biden had unelected officials and things of that nature. It was never a conflict of interest. Nobody ever had anything to say. Nobody questioned the integrity of the people. This, that, and the third. On top of that, y'all have George Soros. But then you say the woman who was speaking said that, implied at least, that because Elon Musk is a billionaire and he owns certain companies or has access to certain to some degree like that, because of that and that alone, that makes him different than George Soros or Bill Gates. Victor added, we need Doge to launch an even bigger investigation into Medicaid. Democrats went on the House floor to rage about waste being cut out of the budget. Officials say 50 billion, in payments are fraud. We thought USA was the biggest cash cow. Seems like it's Medicaid. Yeah. But back to the point of this. Scott Jennings obliterated Johnson. Her talking points was so dumb. Total hypocrisy like usual. Well done. And on top of that, I want y'all to take notice to the fact that she didn't answer the question at all. She didn't say yes or no. I don't trust people who can't answer questions. I don't care if I'm sorry. I'm gonna just say I don't care if you were a man who's triggered and whatever the case. If you can't answer a yes or a no question, a basic yes or no question, despite you disagreeing with the how you feel, I guess, or the context or whatever, I cannot trust you. Get away from me. I can only deal with honest people. I'm the type of person, that I can be upset and be mad. But if you identify it as something that's objective and that's a fact, I don't care how mad I am or how I feel. It's a fact. I'm acknowledge it as that. Now, anywho, before I get all into my personal rant, Scott Jennings also calls the CNN host Abby Phillips to frantically figure out what she actually meant when she says Elon Musk working for Doge is a conflict of interest.
Making the grant decision.
Congress
Scott,
too. We had to take ethics. We had to take ethics obvious
courses.
conflict.
You can't do it. It's a conflict.
He's not making the grant decisions.
How do you know that he's not making the grant decisions, Scott?
I mean, they've said
he's over
not.
at the FAA saying he's got his hands in everything in the government, and his company gets a contract. That's a clear conflict.
How do you know that he is?
That's also
you're alleging that he
Scott,
is personally writing the grants for himself.
We
I don't think that's
played
true.
the sound. Donald Trump was asked by Caitlin Collins about that exact scenario. He said it wouldn't happen, and it's happening.
You're alleging that you two are alleging that he is in a government office personally writing grants to himself. I think that is a major allegation. If you're prepared to make it,
Scott,
go ahead. But I
hold
think
on.
you're out of
Just a second, because Scott, we're first of all the kind of wild. If you're making that allegation, it's almost like a threat. I don't think that that's warranted in this situation.
Shut up. I'm sorry. No, you can't come up with nothing to say. So you wanted to, I don't think that's warranted in this situation. What are you talking about? You're saying somebody's working in the government and abusing their power within the government to somehow advance their own personal interests over the American people. And he warned you, hey, that's a tough allegation right there. You over there, it doesn't matter.
First of all, the kind of wild. If you're making that allegation, it's almost like a threat. I don't think that that's warranted in this situation. Ethics laws exist in this country, and they have for a long time. And they apply not just to people like Elon Musk, but just regular old staffers who can't go to a lunch and have someone pay for it for them because of conflict issues. So Elon doesn't have to write the check for himself, but his presence in the agency where he himself is receiving a benefit is a clear conflict. It's not an allegation of him writing a check to himself. It's just pointing out.
You just alleged he has a conflict.
No.
It is an allegation.
It's just pointing out that generally speaking, in the government, you are not allowed to oversee business where you profit.
I don't think he's overseeing the FAA. There's a Secretary of Transportation.
That's a basic principle of things.
He doesn't oversee the FAA.
And if you want to argue about that, then look, when you were serving in the government, didn't you have to take ethics trainings and sign ethics agreements that prevented you from doing that very thing?
Are you alleging he's overseeing the FAA?
Scott, never said that.
We're gonna move on.
You make an allegation.
The Secretary of Transportation literally invited him into the FAA to oversee the thing that his company is now profiting from. Those are all facts that are out there.
What do you mean? You said he's overseeing the FAA. That's what you're saying.
She said the person that's overseeing.
Coming up next,
you're changing.
we have a lot more.
No, I genuinely, with a passion, hate. I hate when people do this. I'm gonna give you an example of how it happened to me. At a barbecue at a friend's home. And somehow we landed on the topic of politics. Before I was asked my opinion about anything, she acknowledged that I was a conservative. And the very first thing that she said to me was, "Oh, you haven't been challenged by the right person. I don't think you're actually conservative." So that's when I replied, "So are you saying to me that I'm not capable enough of looking at the same information that you're looking at and creating my own conclusion? And are you also saying that because my conclusion isn't what you concluded, that I need to somehow interact with somebody who can put me in my place?" Are you saying that I'm not competent, like mentally competent to come up to my own conclusion? Guess what she said to me? Oh, you're making up. You're twisting my words. That's exactly what just happened right there. You made this allegation. You realize, oh, okay, yeah, that probably wasn't the best thing to make. You try to belittle him, make it seem like he's crazy for literally translating what you said. And then once he break it down in, let's say, elementary form, oh, you didn't say that. You're making that up. It can be George Washington brought back from the dead to lead Doge, and the Democrats would still have their panties in a bunch, somebody says. Let's just move on. I'm hanging too tight on this. Bill Clinton downsized the federal government, and Obama tried to make budget cuts. Nobody batted an eye. It was only bad when Trump does it. I'm sorry. It's only bad when Trump does it, and especially now that Elon is involved.
Budget reform is not an option. It's a necessity.
The American people are entitled to transparency.
We can't sustain a system that bleeds billions of taxpayer dollars on programs that have outlived their usefulness or exist solely because of the power of politicians, lobbyists, or interest groups.
They're entitled to be able to figure out where their dollars are going, and they're entitled to accountability to make sure that we're using the dollars for what we said it was for.
We are going to go through our federal budget, as I promised during the campaign, page by page, line by line, eliminating those programs we don't need and insisting that those that we do need operate in a sensible, cost-effective way.
What should be easy is getting rid of the pointless waste and stupid spending that doesn't benefit anybody.
We hope to be instilling an entire new culture that not only our administration, but every succeeding administration will in fact pursue.
No amount of waste is acceptable, not when it's your money.
We all know the government can be inefficient. We all know that the bureaucracy can be bloated. We all worked in the fucking White House. We tried to reorganize the government. We tried to find efficiency. It's hard to do.
And honestly, some of this is pretty annoying because it's some of the stuff we should have done.
I don't know who those people are saying that they worked in the government, but saying that they should have did. I'm just saying, people. It's cool when they do it, but it's a problem. Now, we got to get back to Jasmine Crockett. I know I tried to save y'all as much time as possible. We went through about 10 minutes. I don't think this is actually Jasmine going to speak in this one. But meet Mary Beth. She adopted her 4 grandkids, ages 10, 12, 15, and 16, because their parents suffered from addiction. Mary Beth relies on SNAP, food stamps, to put food on the table, Medicaid, so that they can see doctors and dentists. Yeah, and Hakeem is trying to use her, this story as a way to try to garner up sympathy. Granted, I'm not somebody whom isn't a human. I do have empathy for people whom are trying to do good in life and things of that nature. However, in these type of scenarios, it's like, before we even look at it, look at that. It says, okay, look, everyone. And now the Democrats are worried about people who suffer from addiction. Funny how they didn't give up 4 years ago until 20 minutes ago. I'm not trying to be heartless here. I'm not saying that those kids don't deserve to have the opportunity to make sure that they got food, clothes on their backs. And I'm just saying. I don't think we need to play this video, though. It's just her giving a whole story about that. You got Hakeem Jeffrey standing behind her. Yeah. But Mario Nawful posted this today. What was it? What time was this? This was yesterday at 8:26 p.m. actually. It says House Republican passed Trump's budget bill, setting the stage for tax cuts, strict immigration laws, defense spending, and energy expansion. The $2 trillion in cuts divided the GOP moderates fear Medicaid slashes, while hardliners want deeper spending cuts. Now the bill heads to Senate for sure, man. The word Medicaid is not even in the bill, somebody says. Majority Leader Scalise refutes Democrats' talking point that Republican budget cuts Medicaid. So it's a good thing that we didn't watch that video in the first place.
I'm going through the budget. This is the House Republican.
Hold on, let me go in. You know you got to speak up now. Speak up.
I'm going through the budget. This is the House Republican budget that was passed unanimously by Republicans. Every Democrat voted no. Go through this entire bill. Do you know that for every Democrat talking point where they talk about the horrible things that this budget's going to do, they talk about Medicaid cuts. Everybody's going to be thrown, according to Democrats, into all these horrible situations. There's only one problem. The word Medicaid is not even in this bill. This bill doesn't even mention the word Medicaid a single time, and yet all Democrats are doing is lying about what's in the budget because they don't want to talk about the truth of what we're voting to start. We're voting to start a process. This doesn't end the process. This allows 11 committees in Congress to go an open view on C-SPAN, to have hearings in March where you can all watch, you can all hear the debate, you can watch the amendments fly back and forth, where we're going to be debating how government can work better for the people of this country.
Amen to that. Yeah, they spewing these lies because money is being taken out of their pockets. Simple. What other reason would you lie about Medicaid being cut if somehow those extra tax funds aren't being allocated to you in some sort of way? Like, what motivation would you have other than that? I could be wrong. Trump calls the House bill a win for America. Once the budget balance, it can be done. Big step, first step win for Speaker Mike Johnson in America. Now let's start to balance the budget. It can be done. Did he just put DJT at the bottom? Did he just sign a tweet, basically? Now, this is Congressman Gabe Evans giving us a summary of what just took place yesterday.
I've just come back from the U.S. House floor where I voted for the budget reconciliation bill, and so wanted to level set what this bill does do. This bill does ensure that the median family of four in Colorado is not facing a tax increase of $2,040. This bill ensures that the child tax credit is not cut in half. This bill ensures that small businesses do not see their tax rate doubled. This bill ensures that our small businesses can compete on a level playing field with large corporations whose tax rate is already permanently set. And finally, this bill does work to lower the price of energy and gas for everyday Americans by unlocking the process to empower American energy dominance. Because I'm committed to making life affordable and safe for Americans and Coloradans, I'm voted for this bill. I've just come back from the...
So we got some insight to what's actually on the bill. Now, I want y'all to hear what this woman got to say about Jasmine Crockett real quick before we get up out of here. She ain't holding nothing back. I would just say that. I'm probably going to have to edit this video for sure.
Jasmine Crockett got her bad wig having ass on this motherfucking social media. And said that the government shouldn't be handing out money. Girl, what? The $5,000 Trump trying to give us, that's taxpayer dollars. Meaning taxpayers put that money into the government. They misappropriated the motherfucking funds. Trump and Elon found out about it, and they trying to do something right and give it back to the damn people. And you talking about something the government shouldn't be giving out money? Girl, is you cool? Y'all the same motherfuckers that sat on this goddamn internet just a couple years ago and was all for all of the immigrants getting money. You was all for sending all our motherfucking tax dollars overseas. You was all for that. But when it comes to money that is owed to us, money that probably shouldn't have even been taken from us in the first place, being put back in the hands of the people it belongs to, now you got some shit to say? I'm sick of her. Joy Reid, I'm so happy that bitch got fired too. Keep her off the motherfucking airwaves. Y'all was all in cahoots when it came to these motherfucking immigrants and Joe Biden and Kamala ass. Y'all was all in cahoots when it came to giving out free shit that was undeserved. But the minute we bring up reparations, The minute we bring up giving back some motherfucking money that the taxpayers are entitled to, everybody's panties is in the motherfucking wad. Y'all was always sending money all overseas and shit for wars that don't even make sense. But the minute they want to take care of American people, you find a problem with that? What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Is y'all cool? Is y'all alright? All motherfucking skinfolk ain't kinfolk. Joy Reid, you're not even from here. So you don't need to be speaking on nothing that pertains to Black American business, period. That's just point blank the fuck period. We don't need your comment on no Black American issue ever again in the history of niggerdom. Okay? Jasmine Crockett, baby, it's giving Oreo. It's giving sold the fuck out. We don't want to hear shit you gotta say anyway. If somebody trying to put money back into the American people pockets, it don't matter if you Democrat, Republican, Independent, green, blue, red, I don't give a fuck. You should be supporting that, especially if the money was misappropriated and it didn't go to where they claimed it was supposed to go. Why wouldn't you want it to go back into the people's pockets? Y'all's op-ass motherfuckers. And I don't like the fact that y'all...
I'm sorry. Shorty, I appreciate the message, but you cursing that much is just annoying. This was the first time. First of all, I appreciate the message. I'm not trying to shun her in no kind of way. I'm just being honest. Every time she cursed, I'm just like, oh my God, that was just so unnecessary. Making me realize that when I be cursing, this is what I be sounding like. So many effing such and such, and y'all be the mother effing. It's like, dog, okay. But she's right. She got a point. How can y'all they sit there and you throw protests and spew all these different lies over the idea of actually getting reparations for being ripped off as an American taxpayer? So, I'm saving this because I want to see what you say when that check don't come your way. Somebody says, well, we are not expecting a check. We're with the understanding that the check isn't like something that's official. The idea of it would be amazing, though. At least that's my understanding. I would like to assume that everybody who heard about the stimulus check being a possibility knows that it's, just that, a possibility. But I mean, we not like sitting back going, oh my God, this is exactly what we voted for. We was waiting on the check. But this is exactly what they're going to do. That is not what she said. She pointed out that the right-wing fascists are not handing out money. They are the same ones who voted against Democrats sending out stimulus checks. What's not clicking? Y'all not getting money. Y'all are getting dictatorship, period. These people. She said they are not handing out money. Well, that kind of debunks what you're saying. They're not handing out money per se, but they're also not. They're not handing out money if they're not giving like the stimulus checks that they be talking about and stuff like that. However, they're preventing our money from being spent on all these frivolous organizations, NGOs, and things of that nature. In addition to that, we're keeping more money in our pocket from our money not being funneled through these corrupt organizations and things of that nature. What are we talking about? Talking about we the same ones who voted against it took for Donald Trump's signature for those stimulus checks to come out. What's not clicking?